Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star 2 episode number 188 based on novel. So let's start. In the land of origin, by the Purple Jade Lake, numerous high-level primordial creatures arrived here one after another. Thousands of high-level primordial creatures gathered together and began to chat familiarly. I've heard that this Daoist Luophone is a half-primordial fusion Dao cultivator. Is there any doubt about it? He's currently residing at the peak of the mountain on Primordial Island, witnessed by countless cultivators on the island. You all need not worry, my avatar has already descended to the dark sacred realm and captured the scenes where Daoist Luophone battled a primordial prisoner. Even without breaking out of the braided cage, Luophone already possesses strength beyond imagination. Oh? Could you provide me a copy of the scenes where he battled the primordial prisoner? These high-level primordial creatures were quite concerned with Luophone's potential. This powerful without breaking out of the braided cage. It's truly incredible. 1 tells 10, 10 tells 100. With the spread of the battle footage of Luophone and the lava prisoner, any lingering unease had now settled. From now on, we will just calmly follow Daoist brother Luophone. Daoist brother Luophone's talent guarantees his achievement of becoming a world-level primordial. The high-level primordial creatures of our Dark World group will have good days ahead. These high-level primordial creatures were somewhat elated, and the more they learned about Luophone, the more they realized that support they were about to embrace was indeed substantial. In a picturesque, expansive cave mansion in the land of origin, a colossal figure coiled within was sleeping, its entire surface covered with deep purple scales. On closer inspection, each scale was crystalline and semi-transparent, hosting vast spaces naturally within, with endless fiery power contained in each scale's space. Brother Shuhua. A figure of a woman clad in a green robe flew unimpeded into the cave mansion. What is it? The colossal figure slowly opened its eyes, its pupils containing countless fiery stars experiencing life and death. He normally maintained a bloodline form to better delve into the potential of his bloodline. Brother Shuhua, are you unaware that you have tens of thousands of high-level primordial creatures under your command planning to pledge allegiance to a new cultivator? The woman in green quickly said, they are all high-level primordial creatures from the Dark World group, more than 10,000 high-level primordial creatures, except for Qianlangku. All of them have gone over. The woman in green was quite indignant, continuing, Brother Shuhua, they are your subordinates. They haven't reported this to you, they've collectively gone to pay respects to Daoist Luophone, which is somewhat excessive. I think they should be properly reprimanded. The colossal figure smiled slightly, Cheng has already reported to me, and I have permitted them. You've allowed this? The woman couldn't help but say, Brother Shuhua, Daoist Luophone indeed has extraordinary potential. But as a fusion Dao cultivator, becoming a world-level primordial life form necessitates sufficient time. Once Luophone breaks through, their visit would be considered proper. But now, before Luophone has broken out of the braided cage, they are immediately pledging allegiance, which warrants a reprimand. Without rules, how would Brother Shuhua manage tens of thousands of high-level primordial creatures and billions of innate primordial life forms? She has pledged allegiance before breaking out of the braided cage, charmed by her brother's deep bond, so naturally, she stands by her brother's side. The brother, at the world-level primordial life stage, had cultivated to a late phase, with considerable accumulation, overseeing over 100 world groups, with the favor of Lord Yuan. More than 60,000 high-level primordial creatures and over 3 billion subordinate innate high-level primordial life forms all followed his command. The 7 lords are high above, the genuine affairs of the cultivator camp are mostly handled by 237 world-level primordials, each wielding immense power. Take a look at this footage. Shuhua smiled and passed the footage to the woman in green. This? The woman was taken aback upon viewing the footage. The Dark World group is one of the 100 world groups I oversee. When Daoist Luophone broke through, I was the first to get the news. Upon investigation, Ge Ifeya, they also submitted some intelligence regarding Daoist Luophone to me, including this battle footage. Xu Hua looked at the woman in green. Daoist Luophone will certainly become a world-level primordial. Furthermore, it's estimated it won't take very long. By then, the Dark World Group, as his hometown, will undoubtedly fall under his rule. Xu Hua smiled. Let him save some face now. The woman, having viewed the footage, was also stirred. Can one be this strong without breaking out of the braided cage? The woman couldn't help but say. I haven't seen anything like it. Xu Hua gently shook his head. Nearly 100 fusion Dao cultivators have appeared in the history of the cultivator camp, but such strength without breaking out of the braided cage I've never heard of. The woman in green also felt pressured. What terror waiting within the future without breaking out of the cage so terrifying now? No wonder Xu Hua, with his pride, saved face like this. You said all the over 10,000 high-level primordials of the Dark World Group went except Qian Lanku? Xu Hua inquired. Yes, I'm sure. The woman nodded. As the first major general under Xu Hua, by slightly investigating, those high-level primordial creatures wouldn't dare to deceive. He dares not to go. Xu Hua showed a tinge of curiosity, his enormous eyes shimmering with a peculiar light. Interesting. In the quiet room of Qian Lanku's cave mansion in the land of origin, the silver-haired three-eyed man, Qian Lanku, watched the vast world-level primordial bloodline phantom before him, observing the myriad mysterious secret patterns within. Without breaking out of the cage, they've all gone to collectively pay respects. Qian Lanku gazed at the primordial bloodline phantom before him. Do they all believe that the Dark World Group will belong to this Luophone in the future? Wrong. The Dark World Group will belong to me. Heavenly Wolf Guest's eyes burned with intensity. Back then, before jumping out of the braided cage, he could comprehend 4 to 5/10 of the high-level primordial bloodline. Later, his spiritual wolf first jumped out of the braided cage and was personally guided by Senior Yuan. After arriving at the primordial island in the land of origin, with more resources, he quickly comprehended over 7/10 of the high-level primordial bloodline. At that time, he felt that world-level primordial bloodline was too difficult, so he didn't hesitate to rely on the high-level primordial bloodline to jump out of the braided cage. Because he comprehended over 7/10, he soon reached the level of perfection of high-level primordial life. He spent the long years following in comprehending the world-level primordial bloodline. With the thought speed, comprehension, and observational power of high-level primordial life, the difficulty of comprehending the world-level primordial bloodline was greatly reduced. I've already comprehended 6/10 and 8/10 of the world-level primordial bloodline. The 7th tenth is not far off. If I wish, I can now refine the world-level primordial bloodline into my body, spending some time, and can also break through to world-level primordial. Heavenly Wolf Guest was very confident. According to the experiences of the seniors, if a primordial bloodline is comprehended to 7/10, then refining it into the body can directly break through, even reducing memory pollution and will pollution. If comprehended to 5/10, refining it into the body, spending time to dig potential, it can also be achieved. He now reached 6/10 and 8/10, perhaps once refined, can become world-class. Because the so-called 7/10 comprehension is the requirement for certain breakthrough. A little lower actually doesn't pose much of a problem. Exchange for a piece of auxiliary treasure, give it a go, reach 7/10, and then breakthrough. Heavenly Wolf Guest thought. If I become world-level primordial first, the Dark World Group will also belong to me, then the tens of thousands of high-level primordial lives will become my subordinates, right? Heavenly Wolf Guest laughed and then thought no more. A fusion Dao cultivator? Haven't even jumped out of the braided cage, how qualified to make him submit? He himself is about to become a member of world-level primordial. This Luophone will be at the same level with him in the future. Asterisk. Luophone sent an avatar away from Primordial Island and came to the Purple Jade Lake in the land of origin, the agreed meeting place. So many high-level primordial lives. Although Luophone knew that over 10,000 high-level primordial lives would visit him, seeing such a bustling group collectively appearing, he still felt a bit stirred. Here he comes. Daoist Luophone has arrived. The originally chatting tens of thousands of high-level primordial lives instantly quieted down, turning their heads in unison to face Luofeng's direction, each with a slight smile and slightly humble demeanor. Luofeng flew down amidst the gazes of all. A slender old man with a sharp chin and narrow cheeks was the first to welcome him. "Greetings, Daoist Luofeng." The slender old man took the initiative to salute first, followed by tens of thousands of high-level primordial lives saluting in unison, all saying, "Greetings, Daoist Luofeng. I haven't jumped out of the braided cage yet, so I'm not worthy to be called Daoist brother." Luofeng smiled. "Let's simply refer to each other as Daoist friend." "Cannot be," the slender old man said promptly. "World-level primordial is within reach for Daoist brother Luofeng, naturally should be considered our senior. Daoist brother hasn't jumped out of the braided cage yet and is still willing to see us, is our privilege. For our Dark World group to produce Daoist brother Luofeng is the honor of the entire Dark World group, and it is our honor." This group of high-level primordial lives, facing Luofeng, were all very humble. They can, with one avatar, manage a group of submissive innate primordial lives. Their avatar can also become the ancestral god of a giant world, with their bloodline able to proliferate many creatures within the world. Their avatar can assume the responsibility of garrisoning the core holy realm of a group of worlds. Yet facing Luofeng, each was respectful and humble. Because the more one cultivates, the more they understand the vast gap between high-level primordial life and world-level primordial. Daoist Xuan. Luofeng looked at the slender old man, who was the first to contact him. "Our Dark World group has birthed 13,922 high-level primordial lives. A little fewer when counting the living, there are 12,883. The slender old man realized the issue and immediately said, 12,882 attend today, only one named Heavenly Wolf guest hasn't come." Luofeng swept his gaze briefly and confirmed the amount. Indeed, only one was missing. Missing one? If thousands of high-level primordial lives hadn't come, Luofeng wouldn't have been surprised. He hasn't jumped out of the braided cage and doesn't need all of them to pay him a visit. But only one missing, now that was intriguing. Among our tens of thousands of high-level primordial lives in the Dark World group, the most gifted is this Heavenly Wolf guest. The slender old man smiled. "The rest of us high-level primordial lives have all dug into our bloodline potential to jump out of the braided cage. Only he comprehended more than 7/10 of the high-level primordial bloodline to jump out of the braided cage." Luofeng understood. He also knew that among high-level primordial lives, those who rely on bloodline comprehension to jump out of the braided cage are 1 in 10,000. Historically within the Dark World group, only Heavenly Wolf guest emerged this way. Heavenly Wolf guest indeed has a lot of talent. Being able to comprehend the high-level primordial bloodline to break through, indeed shows exceptional talent. Luofeng praised. Perhaps because of that exceptional talent, he also has a bit of arrogance. The slender elder laughed. A woman in golden clothes beside him said, "That lone wolf character often looks down on us, rarely mingles with us. It's fine if he disregards us, but this time when we high-level primordial life forms from the Dark World group collectively came to pay respect to Brother Luofeng, he was the only one absent. That's outrageous. More than one of us sent him messages, trying to persuade him." Other high-level primordial life forms also expressed dissatisfaction. No need to force it. Luofeng glanced around, smiled, and said, "Everyone, stop standing, please be seated." Of course, Luofeng didn't care about such trivial matters with the lone wolf character. To him, his own cultivation was the essence. The attitude of a talented high-level primordial life was just a minor embellishment in his cultivation life. However, Luofeng could also see that the lone wolf character was arrogant, and had poor relations with thousands of high-level primordial life forms, indicating he was unsuitable for managing such affairs. "Please, Brother Luofeng." Cheng and several others gathered around Luofeng, and after Luofeng took the lead to sit, the other more than 10,000 high-level primordial life forms then took their seats one by one. Everyone relaxed and started drinking and chatting. Those who genuinely conversed with Luofeng were also the strongest, such as Cheng and the others. What do you high-level primordial life forms usually do? Luo Feng asked. We do everything. Cheng explained with a smile. The cultivator camp, in the infinite primordial space, various trivial matters ultimately require us high-level primordial life forms to be responsible for. A golden-cloaked woman with 3 purple scales on her forehead smiled and said, guarding various holy realms, cultivating billions of worlds creatures along with patrol missions in the infinite primordial space, long-term alert missions, treasure exploration missions, extraction and mining missions, almost all tasks are handled by us high-level primordial life forms. We can't keep up with all the work. Many burdensome tasks are overseen by sending avatars to supervise those who have submitted. A grey-robed man said. Luo Feng understood. In the cultivator camp, only over 80 million high-level primordial life forms have been cultivated. Yet, those who have submitted exceed 50 billion. Even if their life cores are refined, they still require supervision. The high-level primordial life forms in the cultivator camp are each supervisors. The territory commanded by our cultivator camp is too vast. Cheng said, without relying on those innate primordial life forms, we cannot manage it. Indeed, it's not easy. Luo Feng nodded. The 7 lords are exalted and cannot handle trivial matters. The lords oversee the safety of the entire cultivator camp, resisting foreign invasions. The 237 world-level primordials cannot be involved in everything. And those who have not escaped from the braided cage cannot enter the infinite primordial space. The main workers are over 80 million high-level primordial life forms and the more than 50 billion submitted ones. Our group of high-level primordial life forms from the Dark World group are not valued. Cheng said helplessly, the lone wolf character, the one with the most potential among us, is solitary and completely ignores us. Our days are not easy, and we can only do dirty and tough work. Luo Feng listened and nodded, then asked, what is the strength of our high-level primordial life forms from the Dark World group? We are struggling to dig into our bloodline potential. Cheng said, our strength is generally in the early and middle stages of high-level primordial life. Those who reach the later stage are very few. Reaching perfection in high-level primordial life, apart from the lone wolf character, only the 3 of us. Cheng looked at his 2 companions beside him. Friend Cheng is stronger than us. The golden-cloaked woman said, Friend Cheng was initially refined with world-level primordial bloodline and achieved perfection in high-level primordial life, making him hopeful to achieve world-level primordial. Ian Wu Yang dug into high-level primordial bloodline, finally reaching perfection stage. We incorporated new world-level primordial bloodline. With 2 bloodline wills within our bodies, along with memory pollution. I and Wu Yan are unlikely to reach world-level primordial. The hope of me becoming world-level primordial is also very slim. Cheng shook his head, only the lone wolf character. He comprehended the bloodline, thus in a short time achieving perfection as high-level primordial. Among those who comprehend bloodlines, 1 out of several dozen can become world-level primordial. Luo Feng nodded. Of the 237 world-level primordials, as he understood, nearly 100 cultivated from high-level primordial life forms. By the way, how much do you know about the lords? Luo Feng asked. Cheng, the golden-cloaked woman, and the grey-robed man were slightly startled. Lords? The exalted lords, they dare not say too much. We are all under Lord Yuan. Cheng smiled and said, Lord Yuan is very tolerant of us, and Starlight Lord and Lord Wulan similarly have very tolerant subordinates. As for other lords, they have their own requirements for their subordinates. Luo Feng understood. Yuan, Starlight, Wulan, these 3 lords are all very relaxed in management. The remaining 4 should be much stricter. The other 4 lords have different personalities, among them, Lord Minghuang is the most benevolent. The golden-cloaked woman added a sentence, then didn't say more. After staying long in the land of origin, high-level primordial life forms naturally understand the style of the 7 lords. But no one dares to speak ill of the lords, since saying a single word results in causality, and the lords will know. However, lords usually don't mind. For these high-level primordial life forms, The 7 lords are all-knowing and endlessly powerful, protecting the entire cultivator camp. The lords each have different personalities, and occasionally there are contradictions among them, but it's not up to these high-level primordial life forms and world-level primordial life forms to question them. Luo Feng listened. Yuan, Starlight, Wulan, tolerant of their subordinates. Lord Minghuang is benevolent. What about the remaining Golden Lord and the other 2? Starlight Lord is the only one who breaks laws with force, Luo Feng inquired. Do you know how long it took for Starlight Lord to break laws with force? Before Starlight Lord jumped out of the braided cage, I was already a high-level primordial life, Cheng laughed, so I know the exact time well. Back then, Starlight Lord was at an invincible level and also a fusion Dao cultivator and was guided to the primordial island. He also lived in that cave mansion on the mountain top. Luo Feng nodded. He lived there for a very long time, 12 trillion epochs before breaking through. He should be the longest residing fusion Dao cultivator in Primordial Island in history, Cheng said. 12 trillion epochs. Luo Feng was also taken aback. This is the time recognized by the outside world. If Lord Starlight also used the time acceleration of the quiet room in the cave mansion back then, it would likely have taken even longer. Nowadays, the time acceleration of the cave mansion can permanently maintain a million-fold acceleration. It was even set up by Starlight Lord. Before Starlight Lord jumped out of the braided cage, the time acceleration should be far less than it is now. Yes, during his stay, there was another fusion Dao cultivator that appeared. At that time, another mountain rose on the primordial island, and a second cave mansion was built, Cheng said. From the time spent, Luo Feng could see the difficulty of breaking laws with force. For a life form before jumping out of the braided cage to comprehend the primordial spacetime path, it is too difficult and time-consuming. Do you know anything more about Starlight Lord's method of breaking laws with force? Luo Feng asked. Having lived in the land of origin for a long time, they should know many rumored secrets. I've heard, before Starlight Lord jumped out of the braided cage, he already had a way to reincarnate into other source worlds, the golden-dressed woman also said. He seemed to reside in the primordial island cave mansion for 12 trillion epochs, but for most of that time, he was likely reincarnated in various source worlds. I've also heard that Starlight Lord once applied for a world-level primordial servant, which means a subjugated world-level primordial life form, the grey-robed man said. At that time, the news of him applying for a world-level primordial servant only emerged after he broke through. That servant was a submissive innate world-level primordial life form, and now that world-level primordial servant is heavily employed by Starlight Lord. It's the world-level primordial, Kaya 2, Cheng also nodded. I know about this as well. Kaya 2 is highly valued by Starlight Lord. What did Starlight Lord apply for a world-level primordial servant for? Luo Feng asked. Applying for a world-level primordial servant are of course those who are captured and subjugated. But the cost of applying is still extremely high, requiring as much as 5 million reward points. Fusion Dao cultivators would think twice before exchanging for it. It said that it was for exploration in the infinite primordial space. Starlight Lord, before jumping out of the braided cage, was full of curiosity about the infinite primordial space, reportedly visiting many very special and mysterious places. Weaker servants didn't have the ability to go, so he specifically selected a world-level primordial servant. Kaya 2 is also skilled in spacetime-related abilities. Cheng and the others talked. Early on these were secrets, but after Starlight Lord broke laws with force, these gradually got revealed. From these traces, Luo Feng could also infer some of the ways Starlight Lord broke laws with force. On his own, he could reincarnate multiple times into the source worlds, sending avatars and the world-level primordial servant, Kaya 2, to explore and cultivate long-term in the infinite primordial space. Luo Feng thought. Moreover, he spent a total of about 12 trillion epochs before he finally broke laws with force. Luo Feng was certain in his heart. Some information is not recorded in the official data of the land of origin. But these high-level primordial life forms, having lived here for a long time, have heard many rumors. Luo Feng drank and talked with them for a long time, finally truly understanding the entire cultivator camp. Now, he had a clear grasp of the operation of the camp's order. He also learned about some past conflicts and wars between the cultivator camp and the innate primordial life camp. Even the tempers of the Seven Lords became clearer to Luo Feng. Luo Feng returned to the cave mansion at the mountain top of Primordial Island. Starlight Lord spent 12 trillion epochs to break laws with force, so if I want to break laws with force, I must first have enough patience and not be in a hurry. Luo Feng was now more psychologically prepared. He was ready for long-term cultivation. The foundation must be sufficiently solid. Luo Feng sat cross-legged in the quiet room. Among the more than 800 million types of low-level primordial bloodlines, those with life type, destruction type, and both life and death, there are a total of over 56.03 million types of low-level primordial bloodlines. I will start anew, and for each of these 56.03 million types of low-level primordial bloodlines and corpse materials, I will conduct secret pattern completion, thoroughly researching each one. Luo Feng was not in a hurry to create the primordial level life and death Dao, instead choosing to first study the weakest low-level primordial bloodlines, thus beginning his first secluded cultivation at the land of origin. This video will end here.